Yes.
Must give a lot of credit to Samniji that she is doing wonderful seva for our Jain community and Jain people, she is super.
It's only because of her, that we have this course.
Right, exactly. No, I know that, that is why I'm saying that
Yes.
Samniji, and she is established up, long time here. It is not easy for them to do. Now she is very well established here, but
That's
ત્યારે સવારે જેટલા સાંજે જેટલા ખાય છે કે સાંજે બીજું વિચાર દાળ ઢોકળી ખાવી છે.
Sunil, do we have Dr. Bhatnagar now?
Amendra.
Dr. Bhatnagar?
I don't think he joined yet.
No, I'm not seeing him. Let's wait for, okay, at least it may take around 2, 3, 4 minutes, but that's fine. Meanwhile, means if anyone has any questions, I think if Professor Kachraji want to take.
Yeah, I can take questions if somebody has.
Jayendra, Professor Ji, where will I get your books, sir? From which publication?
Which book you are talking of?
The scientific approach
Explorations.
to yeah,
yes,
scientific
published by a publisher known as Motilal Banarsidass of Delhi.
Right, sir. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
So, कौन सी book है? Scientific exploration of?
Scientific explorations of Jain doctrines.
Jain doctrines. Okay.
Yes.
There are 2 volumes, sir.
Yes, it is in 2 volumes.
Right, sir. Okay. So in Bombay we have this Motilal Banarsidass.
You have a branch there, yes.
Yeah, we have a branch there. So I will get it from them.
You can inquire from them.
Right, right.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
कचारा साहब, मेरा एक प्रश्न है आपसे.
फरमाइए.
प्रश्न ये है कि जैन फिलॉसफी में आपने कहा कि वे सिमिलर चार्ज परमाणु can combine and dissimilar charge परमाणु can also combine.
Yes.
This is different from science though. Science तो कहती हुई like charges repel each other.
That's right. That's right.
So
that's right. No, science is talking of what we call as 8-touch matter, I define, what is 4-touch matter and what is 8-touch matter. The 4-touch matter is subtle type and its characteristics are different from the 8-touch matter.
Ji.
And the 8-touch matter, is the one which is studied by science. And
right.
The characteristics of the 2 types of matter, 4-touch and 8-touch are different.
Okay.
And still, the Parmanu is a 2-touch matter, and that property, its properties are entirely different. So in the case of Parmanu, it's possible that, the similar charge and also dissimilar charge would combine. But in the case of 8-touch matter, this is not so, and only dissimilar charge would combine.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so the difference in characteristics of two kinds of matter, which you are talking of. So therefore, science does not know this subtle part of matter, the science does not know about the four-touch matter, and science does not know about the two-touch Parmanu.
Ji. Yeah. Thank you, Kachala sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Professor, can you explain about the Dharmastika and Adharmastika, how they affect soul, Atma ko?
So see, Dharmastika helps in motion, when something moving on its own, then it's a necessary agent, for motion. Motion cannot take place without Dharmastika, but the Dharmastika is not moving anything. The Jiva moves on its own, so also matter, the matter moves by force. So force has to be applied to matter in order to move it. But all these things are possible only if Dharmastika is present. And Adharmastika is the one, which is responsible for stopping something. Something is moving, and if that moving thing has to come to a stop, it can do only when Adharmastika is present.
Oh.
Again, Dharmastika is not stopping anything, All the things stop on their own, but they can do it only if Dharmastika is present. We explained it, in terms of Upadan and Nimit. There are two kinds of causes which are required for any process to happen. If something is moving, things move on its own. That is the Upadan, But then it requires a nimit, an auxiliary cause. And the auxiliary cause for motion is Dharmastika. Similarly, the auxiliary cause for rest or stopping something is Adharmastika. So both the causes are necessary for any event to occur. Okay? That is the concept, There are two kinds of causes and both are necessary for event to occur, whether it's a motion or stopping something or any other process. So in order that we have a nimit for motion and nimit for rest or stopping, these two ideas have been conceived in Jain Darshan, Dharmastika and Adharmastika. They act only as a nimit, only as an auxiliary cause or helping cause for things to happen or things not to happen.
But what soul is to do in this case? आत्मा को क्या करना चाहिए इसके लिए?
नहीं, आत्मा को पता नहीं। आत्मा को कुछ नहीं करना है।
अच्छा,
आत्मा को कुछ नहीं करना है। आत्मा अपना काम करती है, करती रहेगी, लेकिन आत्मा को अगर गति करना है तो धर्मास्तिका जरूरी है। और आत्मा को अगर गति करते हुए ठहरना है तो अधर्मास्तिका जरूरी है, आत्मा को कुछ नहीं करना. These two things, dharmastika and adharmastika exist in nature.
Okay.
They are
Okay,
permanent.
fine.
They are permanent substances. So Atma has nothing to do. Atma को अपना काम करना है.
Okay.
और ये दोनों इसकी help करती है. आत्मा को help करती है. That's all.
Okay, thank you.
कचारा साहब एक प्रश्न और था आपसे. वो ये था कि साइंस में कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ मन नहीं है.
साइंस में मन का कंसेप्ट है, लेकिन मन क्या है ये नहीं जानते.
तो साइंस तो मन को और दिमाग को एक ही तरह मिला देती है.
एक ही मानती है, but that is the point. They say that there is a mind and there is a brain, and then they say that the brain is mind. Or brain is, or mind is some property of brain. Now, the latest view of science is that it's not exactly brain, but some property of brain, which they do not know what it is. So they now think, it's some kind of extension of brain, The mind is that way. And we'll have lectures on this subject,
Okay.
You have 5 lectures on this thing from Dr. Sancheti.
Okay.
And he would be talking about what is brain, what is mind, and what are the functions of brain, what are the functions of mind, and so on. I also talk about brain, from Jain philosophical point of view. What is brain, what are its function, and so on. So there is a lecture on this.
Okay.
When are we going to have those lectures?
When I say it's I think down the way.
Okay.
I think
In the genetics?
after genetics, there are other lectures, and the lecture on brain would probably start somewhere on 20th lecture or something like this.
Okay.
It's way down. We have selected, it's a good topic. It's a good course. You have variety of topics, variety of areas to be covered, and different by different experts.
Yeah.
So Dr. Sancheti is a neurosurgeon or
He is a
neurologist?
neurosurgeon. He is a neurosurgeon.
Okay.
तो हम जब आत्मा की गति की बात करते हैं तो फिजिकल गति के फिर द चेंजेस इन इट्स एट्रीब्यूट्स.
No, physical. Even the change in attributes would require, dharmastika.
Okay. Yeah, I thought so.
Both ways.
So
Yeah,
Professor
no-
Kuchera
Yes. Yes, please.
जी, जब उन्होंने गति की बात पूछी तो मैं थोड़ी सी उसमें कंफ्यूज हुई, क्योंकि हिंदुइज्म में बोलते हैं कि आत्मा ठहर जाती है डेथ के बाद थोड़े दिन और उसके बाद गति करती है, और जैनिज्म में कहते हैं कि आत्मा स्ट्रेट गति करती है. तो वो दोनों में चेंज क्यों है?
It's very difficult to answer, because there are different beliefs.
Okay.
Hinduism is a different belief, They believe in certain set of things. They believe in another. Follow what Bhagavan Mahavir has said. Okay.
Okay.
So we cannot question, Bhagavan Mahavir's Vani. So whatever he has said, we follow. And what he says is different from Hindu, what exists in Hindu tradition.
Right.
But we can argue, logically, which is correct.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. What could be the logic?
The logic is, Hinduism is something different, the concept is different. Atma is a part of something, some bigger Atma, some super Atma, Brahma.
Right.
Whereas, we don't believe that. We say that every Atma is independent. It does not depend on any other thing. Every Atma has, his own way of working. It doesn't depend on anything else. Atma has powers, and the powers are sufficient. And these powers do not depend on anything else,
Yes.
So our concepts are very different. And
So then
Hinduism does not believe in dharmastika and adharmastika.
Correct.
They don't have
Yes.
these concepts. These concepts exist only in Jain tradition, only in Jain philosophy.
Okay. So in Buddhism, when they say the Atma becomes Shunya or zero at the end, so that also a different concept of soul, right?
It's a different concept. It's a different concept, I mean, as far as we are concerned, we say that nothing is Sunya.
Right.
Everything, has existence. Even
Yeah.
the soul has existence. Even the pure soul has existence.
Correct.
Okay, so there is nothing Sunya,
Right.
Yeah. So
And
we don't have-
surprisingly enough, Mahavir and Buddha both were at the same time. And they both gave two different philosophies.
Yes, they were existing at the same time. And even then they had their own different philosophies.
Yeah.
And both philosophies flourished, in India at that time. And there was no conflict of any kind.
Yeah.
You believe in what you like, something like
That's true.
this. Yeah, so there were followers of Buddhism and there were followers of Jainism,
Right.
Okay, and they never quarreled with each other.
No, that's true.
You live with your own belief and I live with my belief.
Yeah.
So that was the beauty, at that time. It's
Yeah.
not like today, where the people are fighting.
That's true.
I don't know what happened to Dr. Bhatnagar. He is not responding to my call. Samni ji?
I want to ask one question.
Yes, please.
Which karma is more related with genes, like Nam karma or like Mohaniya karma? Which karma is much related, nearer to the genetic science or genes?
Nam karma. Nam karma.
Nam karma. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And the
So
next
all
is
the physical
the next is
structures,
Bodhi karma. Next is-
physical appearance, voice, the way we walk, everything is determined by the Nam karma. But
yes.
how it is related with the genes?
No, that is the most
Genes
difficult
plays
question.
role in at the subtle level, but these are all visible, no?
No, even the visible things are controlled by genes, as far as science is concerned. But, to establish a exact relationship between karma and genes is very difficult task. This is what this course is all about,
Okay.
Yeah, we are now, going through this course, hoping that, those who are attending will find solutions. I mean, this is a long way to go before we can exactly find an exact relation between karma and gene. It's a long way to go. It's not easy. And it's not imminent, at the moment, but we are all speculating because of the different kinds of functions, The genes are doing the same kind of functions as we are assigning to Nam karma or to Gotra karma, heredity, So we hope that now there is a relation between these two, and there has to be, because, because without karma, this body cannot exist.
Yes,
And the science believes that without genes and without DNA, the body cannot exist. So the two things must be related, this is what we are hoping. Now, but how to prove it scientifically is a very difficult task. Because, the science cannot study karma. Karma is a very subtle aspect, And science has no access to karma. So unless you have access to it, and unless you can experiment with it, I mean, science does not believe. So that is the difficulty. So, and that probably will never be possible. So we had to simply find logic to connect these two things, and arguments. We should be able to advance arguments, convince people to look here, although the karmas are not visible, but have a visible effect with genes, that way.
So,
Yes.
so no, I think till now, no any authentic scientific research has been published in any renowned journal or any international level journal. Is there any article related to the karma and genetic science? Somebody has gone 1% also nearer to the genes and karma connection.
I don't know. I have published 2 articles on philosophy study.
Yes, yes.
And there I have published 4 articles rather in that journal.
Okay.
I do talk
Journal
about
of Philosophy. Which
Yes.
journal?
philosophy study.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I had talked about these things, I talked about mind, I had talked about other things also, talked about karma and so on. But, it's not being received very easily, by people of scientific background, although we do write there in the journals and we publish our articles, but the question is whether the people believe or whether the people really believe that, yes, this is true. This is a different thing, But this is not happening, Nobody believes, because the first thing, in order that they believe in karma, is to believe in soul.
Yes.
That is the first thing. Unless people believe in soul, they will not believe in karma. So that is the first thing, how to make people believe in soul. And there are people who are trying, even from the Vedic traditions of people are trying to do that. That there is a soul. Okay. But it's a long way to go, it's very difficult to convince scientists, because they say that, we can do without soul and explain everything what is happening in the body, then where is the need to accept the existence soul? That is the point.
Okay.
So the question is here, say the body is working because of genes, because of DNA and all that, But this, what scientists not realizing is this, that the body cannot function without intelligence. Even this genes and DNA will not function without intelligence, What is happening in a cell? Dr. Mahi Bhatnagar explained to you in the last class, a cell is a factory by itself, it is producing proteins every time. And to produce proteins, how many processes are taking place in one cell. And all these proteins are to be produced at the right time, in the right amount, at the right place. And how the proteins are being produced, is starting from DNA, how the RNA is functioning, how the ribosomes are functioning, explained everything.
Yeah.
Now, all these functions require intelligence, the matter has no intelligence. So the question is, the intelligence has to have a source.
But nowadays, they are believing in the artificial intelligence. It's becoming the culture of the day, no?
Artificial intelligence is something very different. It does not apply to cell. That's very different, That's a very different aspect. Artificial intelligence is because of the natural intelligence. So the question, where is the natural intelligence,
No, natural intelligence, they agree with the mind, concept of mind. And mind thinks, and thinking occurs through intelligence only, no?
No, where is mind,
Hmm?
Where is mind, The scientists believe that the mind is a property of the brain itself. It's a property of matter.
Okay.
So they do not know what mind is, in fact, They are only thinking, speculating that it is some property of brain, and brain is only matter. It's a pudgal. So they think that the mind is also a property, some property of matter. It's what they call it emergent property. I mean, this,
No,
some kind of processes combined together and something emerges out of it. This is emergent property. So the brain functions in a certain way, and because of its way of functioning, they think that the mind is emerging out, and the mind exists. So their thinking is very different. So the brain does not have intelligence. So the brain is pudgal, matter. It's made of atoms and molecules. And scientists accept it very, very, very frankly, that atoms and molecules have no intelligence.
Okay.
They accept it.
Then
So,
where is intelligence?
The
Where
atoms,
is intelligence?
no, I'm talking of science. Atoms and molecules have no intelligence.
Okay.
How can anything which is made up of atom and molecules can have intelligence?
Okay.
That's not possible, isn't it?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not possible. So they are violating their own rules. On one side, they say that atoms and molecules have no intelligence. On the other side, they say, okay, some processes are taking place in the brain and therefore intelligence is emerging. So they are violating their own rules.
Okay.
Yeah. So
It means they didn't come to the conclusion yet that brain and intelligence are intertwined.
no, they don't accept it.
Okay.
They don't accept. That is the point. The hardcore scientist would not accept these things. But there are scientists who personally believe on their own, on their personal belief, they do say that yes, intelligence has to come from somewhere. So, and many of the scientists do believe in the existence of soul. But they do not correlate, soul and intelligence. This kind of correlation exists only in Jainism.
Okay.
Jainism says Gyan, Gyan is intelligence. So Gyan is a property of soul, It's only Jainism which says that. And no other philosophy in the world says that. Even the Hindu philosophy also doesn't say that, that Atma is Gyan. No, they don't believe in that. So it is only the Jain philosophy which provides solution to all the questions, which science can pose.
Yes.
But the only point is that we have to make them come down to this view that, look here, there is a soul and the soul has intelligence, and because of soul's intelligence that the body is working. All the processes which the scientists are studying in the body are because of soul and not because of matter only.
Yes.
So they are not accepting. They said that it's only because of matter this is happening, which is not true.
But I think they are now accepting the concept of consciousness.
Consciousness also is emergent property. So their definition of consciousness is very different from ours.
Okay.
We say that consciousness is the property of the soul.
Yes.
And they say the consciousness is emergent property of matter.
Okay. But if there is dead body, there is brain is there, body is there, that at that time brain can be called as material or full of matter. But when soul is in the body, it is in the live body, how they can say it is only material or matter?
So this is what they are saying. And they don't believe, they say there is no soul. It is all because of matter. which is, so it is happening, you know.
But in matter, there cannot be intelligence, no?
There is no intelligence. Yes. They
Yeah.
accept that. They accept that there is no intelligence in matter.
Okay,
Yet they do not accept that there is a soul. And I mean, how do we make them believe?
Okay. Okay.
Jai Jinendra sir, can we not, this is not something parallel to Charvaka's philosophy?
Yes.
Science is very,
Yes, yes. The Charvak philosophy, you know, it was a philosophy, in fact. You know. Okay. Charvak's philosophy was also a philosophy.
yes.
But science is no philosophy. Science is only science, only matter and nothing more than that. So the science is no philosophy that way, you know.
No, but if you see that the
Yes.
science is born out of a philosophy, no? It is a philosophy from where the science has emerged. So there has to be somewhere.
Yeah, but you see, the science has to accept that there has to be a philosophy. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So if they do so, you know, it will be a step forward. You know, they will at least moving one step forward from matter.
So if we see this total of Saman tradition,
Yes.
like Charvak, Buddhist, and Jain,
Yes.
then it gives all probable answer to soul. Like once there is a soul, there cannot be soul. There is a something like that, you know, the Saptabhangi.
Yes.
At least 3 part or 4 part can be answered if we sum all these, total up this Jain tradition, Charvaka, and Buddhism.
And Buddhist.
Yeah.
And Hinduism.
Hinduism, of course, says there is a Brahman and it is Kutastha and all that. You know, once again, that is another thing that they says soul is something which is not taking part in any of things.
Yes,
So
but Buddhism also does not believe in soul, you know. The problem is
right.
Yes, they don't believe in soul, but then
yes,
at the same time, there is no denial of it because they believe in rebirth.
that's right.
They
That's
believe-
right.
yeah.
They don't want to enter into this argument.
Right.
The
Sir.
basic question, you know, whether the soul is there or not there.
Yes.
Buddha, you know, he said that why do you want to enter in these arguments? You know, that is not your aim. Your aim is to get rid of dukkha. That's all.
Right.
So, but the Bhagavan Mahavira answered everything. You know.
Yeah, he answered every questions.
He answered every question. You know. So,
And he answered in such a way that depending upon the dasa of every person, every being, he will get this answer solution to it, you know.
yes. Everyone will be satisfied. Yes.
Yeah, everyone will be satisfied.
Yes,
Whether
yes,
it is-
that's right.
yes.
That's right. Whether it's a human being or it's an animal or anybody else, even they,
Yes.
you know, even they,
Yes,
they would also be satisfied. Yes.
yes, everybody would satisfied. He
That's
answered in
right.
such a
That's right.
Syadvad Saini.
That's right.
So
Exactly. That's the beauty. That's the beauty of this
that's the beauty
tradition.
of yes.
Yes.
So can you throw some more light on this touch of this 8 touch, 4 touch, and
Yes.
2 touch?
Yes.
What
Yes.
exactly? Yes, sir.
So basically, the Jainis, you know, as far as the Pudgal is concerned, you know,
Haji.
you define the properties of Pudgal based on your senses.
Right.
That is the first thing to accept, you know. It's not a laboratory experiment, you know, where you study the property of a thing. It's not like this. Everything is defined based on your own experience.
Right.
And we experience, you know, through our senses. So the
Right.
properties of Pudgal are defined based on senses. So we say that, you know, there is a word, there is a gandha, ras, sparsh. These 4 properties, you know, which we can sense. Okay,
Yes.
that becomes the basis of defining Pudgal. Now, as far as the touch is concerned, there are 8 kinds of touch. So, and then we define them in pairs. Now, for example, hot and cold, Sheet, Ushna. Okay, it's one property. It could be Sheet or it could be Ushna. It could be hot or it could be cold, depending upon the stage or degree. So, in modern terms, you can call it thermal property. Hot and cold, Okay. And then Snigdh and Ruksh is again a touch property. So one can feel, that's whether the Pudgal is a Snigdh or whether it's Ruksh. One can feel it. And that, in terms of, we redefine these two in terms of charge. So you can feel the charge also. Okay, you must have seen a spark, between your clothes and the door. Many times it happens. Or if you are, did you have any experience of sparking on your body? Everyone has that kind of experience, because of clothes or because of some other charge. There is a spark between our body and the next object. It could be, which is very like the gap very, very small. So you can feel charge. Your body can feel charge. So the Ruksh and Snigdh, the 2 kinds of touches, is in modern terms is charge. We define as positive and negative. Then there are other 4 touches, which are secondary kind, They are not there in the Pudgal Paramanu. But when the Paramanus combine and bond together, then new kind of touch property comes up, is produced. And these new touches which are produced are, one is Halka and Bhari, what you call light and heavy. And this refers to mass, basically. So if something has mass, then you can feel it. If you hold it in your hand, and you can feel that it's a heavy or a light or something like this. Okay, you can feel it. So it's again a touch property. Halka and Bhari, heavy and
Yes.
It's a touch property.
Right.
Then Mradu and Karkash. Mradu and Karkash, the touch. You touch something and you feel that it is very soft. And you touch another thing, and you think that it is a hard one. For example, you touch any solid, it's a hard touch.
Right.
But if you touch water or you come in contact with air, it has a soft touch.
Right.
Okay. So you can feel, there is also a touch property. So soft and hard is again a touch property. It's a feeling, your touch. So you have these 8 different kinds of touches, which determine the properties of the Pudgal.
Right, sir.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Sir, so there have been certain examples where people have gone through death and they came back to the life. So what does science says about it? And so probably what they call it intelligence that they cannot see, that is there is some presence in the life which is absent in the death. What science call it intelligence, that we call it soul, right?
This kind of study has been made under the discipline parapsychology. See, there is a separate discipline known as parapsychology, and they study these kind of events when somebody has died and comes back to life, or out of body experience, the soul leaves the body and hovers around it, and then in the room itself, and comes back to the body. And then, the person described, what he experienced during this period when it was out of body and so on. So all these studies have been done, and these have been documented and recorded. But the hardcore scientists still do not believe in these events. They are limited or confined to the study of psychology, a sub-branch known as a parapsychology. So the psychologists do believe in these events, and they have been studied, and there have been studies, such as studies, where the person has studied about 2,000 cases and described in a book. There are books available now, which gives you this kind of study. But even then, the hardcore scientists have not believed these events. And therefore, the question is still unanswered, whether they believe in intelligence or whether they believe in soul. Because if they accept these events as to be true, out of body experience or afterlife or whatever it is, if they accept it, then probably they might have to accept the existence of intelligence and soul. Because these events cannot be explained without soul,
Yeah.
So that probably is preventing the hardcore scientists to accept this. They said, okay, we don't believe in soul and we don't believe in these events.
But at least something, I mean, as a common person, even I can say, okay, in a dead body and a live body, there is a difference.
I understand that, but the scientists said that, look here, I had to prove it in the laboratory. Now, you can't recreate these events in the laboratory. Is that right? You can't recreate these events, whenever they are happening at that location, at the particular time. Now,
But
if
at least,
if you say that, okay, you prove it in the laboratory, that you can't do.
Yeah.
That you can't do. And therefore, they say, okay, if we can't prove it experimentally, we don't believe it.
Yeah, that is true. But they have still something that they cannot answer, because yes, that has happened. That is a fact.
Yeah. Something, okay. I mean, so sooner or later, the scientists may come around to this point, I mean, this is what we are trying to do. That they come around to our concept, our belief and our tradition. Look here, all these things can be explained only when you accept the existence of soul.
So what science believe is only what the senses can feel, what is perceived by the senses.
Or can be proved in the laboratory.
Yeah.
Okay, so they will devise any kind of experiment to prove it,
Yeah.
Yeah, but unfortunately, these things cannot be proved in the laboratory.
Yeah. And thank you for the clarity. Yeah.
Okay.
So, Kachara साहब, ये वाला lecture जो आज होना था, फिर ये अगली बारी होगा, क्या करेंगे?
I am sorry, Dr. Bhatnagar has, somehow he forgot about this lecture, and he has now switched off his phone, so I am not able to contact him. And therefore, I think we had to have another class because his lectures are very important.
Yes, they are.
His lectures are important.
Yeah.
So we will have it sometime. I do not know. I will decide with Samriji what can be done, and we'll announce it.
Okay.
So, okay, then shall we, because it's now time. If there are no more questions, then we can finish the today's talk.
Just one question. Nowadays, there are various instruments which are being developed, correct, which detect all these electromagnetic waves and energies and chakras and thus that
Yes.
helps?
I don't know. See, all energy is material thing, whatever energy they are. Electromagnetic energy is also material thing. It's a Pudgal one. Okay. So I do not know about the chakras. Science does not believe in chakras. It's only the psychological people in the psychology people who believe in chakras. Science don't believe in this. They said there is no chakra in the body. Chakras are also subtle, They are subtle things. Chakras are subtle. They exist in the prana, in the Tejas body. In fact, And because they cannot direct Tejas body, they can never find chakras. Chakras are also subtle things, which are very important as far as body functioning is concerned. But because the science cannot detect it or experimentally prove it, as I said earlier, they don't believe in chakras. Hello? Suril?
No,
Hello?
got it.
Hello.
Hello, yes.
I was wondering, you said science does not believe in chakras, but they kind of like equate the chakras to the glands that we have, like pituitary, adrenal gland, and the thyroid gland. So I thought they kind of like relate or
No.
the chakras to these glands.
No, they don't relate with glands, They believe in glands and they believe in glands functions, how the glands function, how hormones are functioning and, regulating the body processes, body operations and so on. But they don't believe in chakras. They don't say that, there is a relation between chakra and a gland. This is what we are saying, or the philosophy persons are saying, not scientists.
Oh, I see. Because when they talk about meridians, I thought it's the scientists who talk about these things.
No, not scientists. Psychologists.
Okay.
Psychologists talk about it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Surreal?
Sir, thank you very much for wonderful insights. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Professor Kachara. Wonderful.
Thank you.
There's so much to
Thank you,
learn. I think we have
Vichara.
a very fragmented knowledge. It would be very nice if we can systematically kind of learn something. So then, the complete concept gets into our head.
No, it would be there. It would be there. It says it comes from inside, So you will develop your own understanding, that you will do.
Yeah, but just in a guru bina gnan nahi. So somebody, once you explain, then you start thinking about it and do, then your brain starts working and thinking about it. Eyes cannot see what mind does not know or what knowledge we don't have.
No, that's all right, but you must also believe, the guru here is more advanced. I mean, the shishya is more advanced than guru,
I don't think so.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Jai Jinendra.
Jai Jinendra. Namaskar. Namaskar.
Jai Jinendra, thank you.
Okay.
Jai Jinendra, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jai Jinendra, thank you.
Jai Jinendra.
You, sir.
ચલો જજેન્દ્ર અંશાબેન.